here? Okay. It is 6:30. I will call this meeting to order. Welcome to the City of Warman's regular meeting of council on this 12th day of October 2021. I now call this meeting to order. Any announcements? Okay, we'll move down to the agenda then. Motion for the agenda. Councillor Peterson.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the Tuesday, October 12th, 2021 regular meeting of council agenda as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Johnson, any additions or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. We'll move down to minutes then. Motion, please. Councillor Seed.
Move to adopt the minutes from the September 20th, 2021 committee of the whole meeting and the September 27th, 2021 regular meeting of council as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Beck. Any errors, omissions, any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. And Councillor Ramage did let me know he may be a few minutes late here, so I knew that he might not be here on time, so we want to start anyway. We will move down to our delegation. We have a presentation by Debbie Brown. She has 10 minutes here to present to us. She's the executive director, as we met her, of the Prairie Sky Chamber of Commerce. Ms. Brown, you have the floor for 10 minutes.
Okay, as you said, I'm Debbie Brown, the Executive Director for the Chamber of Commerce, Prairie Sky Chamber of Commerce. And I'm here tonight to speak to you about the bylaw 2018-06 on portable and freestanding signs. Mayor Filipchuk, most importantly, I wanted to make it very, very clear that, the closer that the chamber and the city work together, the better it will be for all. It's an absolutely critical component so that we work in unison. But I truly believe that what the discontent that's been amongst the Warman business owners right now could easily have been avoided if that conversation and discussion had happened in advance. I realize that we're going back past 2018, but I think it's just important that we acknowledge that when things are being put into place that impact the business owners, it's in everybody's best interest to find out what their perspective is and hear what they have to say. So I would really encourage in the future for you to bounce some of these ideas off of the off the chamber, and I will try and make sure that I respond to you with the respect and with the feelings or the impact it has on business owners. The bylaw that we're talking about, the bylaw as it's stated, it definitely addresses some of the business owners' concerns, but at the same time, it critically impacts others. For an example, clothing obsession, they say that basically 50% of their income, their revenue, is generated through their temporary signage. That's a lot. It's a big chunk. When I talked to Passion Beauty Studio, she gave me a really good example. She said on July 31st, They had no pedicures booked in their business. They put the sign out on August the 1st showing a pedicure special. They booked solid and generated revenues of $10,500 just on that sign. So as you can see, it has a huge impact. And as you know, the city is going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to have many situations just like this that require an opportunity for our business owners to adapt to, and implement changes in the best interest of the majority. But it's clear here, and I think we can all agree that this situation isn't a one-size-fits-all bylaw. Doesn't suit everyone, all the business owners in the city of Warman. I don't believe that by implementing this bylaw in any way you intended to help some and hinder others. But the good thing is about something like this, it's a bylaw, it's not a policy. And so it does give you the flexibility to amend or adjust and respond to your businesses. So Prairie Sky Chamber, on behalf of the business owners on the Central Avenue, who have been vital to the growth of the city, are requested that those businesses that existed and whose businesses relied on the growth, relied on the portable signs to promote and drive the revenue, be exempt to the bylaw. In common terms, we would like to see them grandfathered in. If the signs are not obstructing traffic, and until the owners change hands, we ask that they may continue to bring new business to our community and encourage local residents to shop in our city by advertising on temporary signage, which has proven to be very successful for them. And so we ask that you consider this as an option when you're deliberating or taking a look at this bylaw and addressing some of the concerns that have been put forward to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And you'll be happy to know that a lot of those things we discussed at our committee of the whole meeting. And I mean, we gave a direction of that. And I think we'll follow through. I think it's probably best to just follow to our planning manager right now. And let's move into the first reading of the bylaw, because even the bylaw, I think we'll let him explain it here, but you'll be surprised, or not surprised, but you'll see that a lot of those things have been implemented as you've talked about, as we've really looked at some of the things that were mentioned. So I'll turn it over to Manager Toth and the planning report. Thank you though, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Filchuk, members of council, Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the present. Sorry.
Just one moment here.
Want me to just hold on for a second? See.
I do want you to hold on because Richard ended up being the host here somehow. So let's let Catherine figure this out. It all once said that Richard Beck is now the host. Catherine, can you please speak to what's happening? Catherine, everything's good?
Yeah, we're back now.
Okay. Okay, we'll turn it over to Manager Toth and the planning report. We'll start over again on that.
Thank you, Mayor Filchuk, members of council, Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to the Chamber for the presentation tonight. We have heard a lot of the similar concerns from the business community after our initial email, which was sent in the summer of 2021. Council, after that email was sent, requested administration take another look at our bylaw and determine how best to address the concerns of businesses while still maintaining the intent of the bylaw. I believe the amendments put together under bylaw 2021-10 both address the majority of concerns raised, but also legitimize a lot of what was already taking place on Central Street. In putting the amendments together, the Planning and Development Department researched portable sign regulations in several municipalities within Saskatchewan, including Saskatoon, Regina, Prince Albert, Melfort, and Martensville. Based on the discussion with council, the subsequent discussion with the business community following the email in the summer of 2021, the Planning and Development Department drafted some changes to the regulations and is recommending the following. We continue to enforce the 30 days on, 30 days off rule to discourage clutter and an excess number of signs on sites where more than one business is located. Change the 30-day on, 30-day off to an annual requirement for sites where one business is located and there's no competition for multiple portable signs. This would encompass the majority of businesses on Central Street. We encourage businesses to look for other options as well in terms of permanent signage, freestanding wall marquee, etc. In addition, we reduced the setback on C1 from 1 meter to 0.5 of a meter from the rear of sidewalk. This will allow more options, as well as in certain situations where portable signs were too close to the street, basically grandfather them in. In addition, we keep the Warman OCP in mind when dealing with signage on Central Street and Centennial, and we encourage good pedestrian-oriented design. My recommendation is that we go forward with first reading tonight. The comments from the chamber regarding reaching out through email was well received. My recommendation would be that after we do first reading, we go back out to the same business community with the changes. In addition, we're required to advertise the bylaw for 2 weeks. So during the next 3 weeks before the next council meeting or before the council meeting that we bring the bylaw back to, we basically engage with the chamber and the business community to ensure that the amendments are satisfactory to their needs, and then come back for second and third reading in a public hearing in early November. At that meeting, we would also bring any correspondence received from the business community, the chamber, and any other correspondence received through the normal advertising period that we do for a bylaw amendment of this type. So the recommendation tonight is that we give bylaw 2021-10 first reading, again, with the intent to publicly advertise for 2 weeks, correspond with the business community and the chamber, and then bring all correspondence back to council on November 8th for that public hearing, discussion, and second and third reading.
Motion, please. Councilor Ramage.
All right, I'll pull this up here. I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 21-10, bylaw to amend bylaw 2018-06, known as the zoning bylaw, be given first reading, that it be advertised for 2 weeks, and that it be brought back to the November 8th, 2021 regular meeting of council for a public hearing and a second and third reading.
Seconder? Councilor Beck? Okay, discussion. Anyway, questions, comments? Councilor Ramage.
Thank you very much, Mayor Philipchuk. I really appreciate the work that's been put into this, and I think administration has done a good job of recognizing the differences between certain businesses and how different corridors in our city interact differently in terms of a sign bylaw. I see this as a very reasonable means to address the issue while still keeping an eye on some of the original concerns that were brought forward in the 2018 version of this. So I appreciate the work that's been done on this, and I would support this.
Councilor Seed.
Thank you, Mayor Philipchuk. Again, I would echo a lot of what Councilor Ramage just said. I think the critical point to all of this is to continue the conversations with the chamber, and also specifically with the businesses that have raised the concerns, which has been identified. So administration has done a really good job of bringing that all together. But I really think that this is about those businesses and about their viability. And I would just like to make sure that they're heavily involved in the discussions going forward to ensure that this is, good for both the city and our safety and concerns with regards to how close it is to the sidewalks or roads and such like that. And that it also allows the businesses to be, as Mrs. Brown indicated, grandfathered in, so that we can address the concern and also address future concerns going forward. So again, thank you to Manager Tolz for that. And I would also like to just mention to Mrs. Brown that I think that this council certainly, and I can't speak for previous, but is extremely dedicated to working with the chamber and also working with our local businesses. And I hope that this is an accurate representation of that.
Just a quick comment too. Now, just a clarification, This would allow what's currently there to stay in place. Is that my understanding?
Correct, sorry. The only two sites that, well, actually what's existing right now at the mall on the west end would be able to stay as well. The only difference would be that we would be requesting that the businesses apply for a permit so that we can tag the signs, just so that there's no issues with bylaw enforcement or any sort of enforcement moving forward. The tagging of the signs was a common feature that we found through most of our research with other municipalities, and it just gives the bylaw officer an easy way to identify that the sign's been approved. If there is concerns about setbacks or whatever else, an easy contact information, and just kind of keeps everything, again, not to overuse the word, but legitimize everything on Central Street.
Okay, and so I'm glad we were able to make these adaptations to make this work. I also, looking at the OCP, the official community plan, just knowing that Central has changed from what we had planned when we actually designed the OCP too, just how that was going to be much more of a corridor extending all the way to each end. And now we've gone in different directions of Centennial and down in Boucher, the south end, and industrial. So there's more areas with this trying to be a niche place, as you mentioned it was mentioned in the OCP. The one thing is, and I've noticed when driving to see the signs, everybody's taking care of what's underneath the signs for the most part, whether it's keeping the grass cut and all those types of things. And that's appreciated, because when they become unsightly, then it becomes a problem for everybody. And I think that's something to emphasize too, that grass and area being taken care of is an important part of the signage. Councillor Johnson.
I was just going to say too, I was just curious when I was going through the folder that you had given me when we were going over the zoning, but you did answer, it's the bylaw officer that's going to actually enforce this, because it said development officer. So I wasn't sure who enforces, because that was kind of a little bit of the issue as far as consistency and managing, which was also noted by other municipalities. And then I was just curious about, like, what can we do? Are there tools and resources or some kind of strategy that you would need, or the bylaw officer would need, to make sure that this is efficient and we're consistently monitoring and checking on the licenses or the fees and the signage and making sure that they're removed?
Yeah, so sorry if I misrepresented that. I guess to begin, the planning and development department will be the ones that issue the permits for the signs. Just standard when we do enforcement, if someone, say, doesn't have a business license or doesn't have a permit to construct, typically it's the bylaw officer that will send out to do the enforcement side of things. Just in terms of your second question, yes, basically I've already chatted with the bylaw officers, and the intent is that we're going to make this almost a monthly kind of review of kind of what's out there, what's been approved, if there's anything that we need to have a discussion with the business about in terms of not meeting the regulations, do that right away. I think part of the issue with what we ran into with the last one, and like I said, comments regarding the email were well received, but is that we left it for too long before we did enforcement. So then when we did enforcement, it was a surprise to everyone, and not shockingly, it was a surprise to everyone. So I think our goal moving forward is, again, that once a month, it'll be in the bylaw calendar to kind of do a rotation of the city, ensure that kind of all the signage has been approved, and anything that's not meeting bylaw or that needs to be dealt with would be kind of dealt with instantly, just so we're not running into a similar issue that we ran into with the enforcement on this one.
Other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll move down to a motion to file admin reports, please. Councillor Tooley.
I will make the motion to file the administration reports for Tuesday, October 21st, 2021, as presented.
Seconder? Councillor Seed? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move down to council and committee reports. Start with mine. I just want to add that I actually met with Mayor Minch, and we actually met with Mayor Dion out of Prince Albert today. And again, we want to meet with him because they ended up getting a $60 million grant for their rec complex. 48 million of it's covered. They only need to come up with 12 million. So we thought, let's talk to people that have actually got it done, and really looking at the populations of Martinsville, Warman being 26,000 and PA being that 37,000. We just want to, we want to find out the different levels that they went to have some of this funding happen. Because both Martinsville and Warman have both been denied funding for recreational complexes. And it's been frustrating for both of us. And I think we're just trying to find different avenues. So I want to give an update on that one and just see what we can do. It is tough because a lot of it's federal and provincial. Any questions for my report? Anything else? Okay, I'll look for a motion then to file my report. Councillor Beck.
Thank you, Mayor Philipchuk. I would like to make the motion to file the mayor's report for Tuesday, October 12th, 2021 as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Peterson. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll go to roundtable now. We'll start with Councillor, I'm just going on my screen here, Councillor Seed.
Thank you, Mayor Philipchuk. Not a whole bunch to report right now. I did have an opportunity to speak with Chief Austin, as I do at least once a week, indicating that, as we've seen in his report, that they are keeping quite busy, although he's feeling that they're well-staffed and that they're, I guess, not burnout, because that wasn't something specifically he said, but the concerns with regards to them being burnt out is being a little bit mitigated, and that he feels they're in a little bit better of a spot going forward than they have been. As you saw in the reports, the amount of calls that they're doing are crazy. They're going to break 500 this year, which is something that was almost insurmountable even a couple of years ago. It indicates that all the equipment is up and running fine, and that they're looking forward to just continuing the service that they're doing. Speaking with the RCMP, again, as was indicated, they're sitting at, I'm going to use air quotes here, but full staffing. They do have a couple of members that are here and there for different reasons with, regards to leave, but also Staff Sergeant Thomas is feeling very comfortable in the position that they're sitting in, so that leaves us protected. We continue to have the conversations regarding ambulatory care, and we should hopefully have some decisions in the next little bit. We're looking forward to that. And my conversations with the golf course, they're definitely wrapping things up here pretty rapidly. And they haven't gotten a set in stone date yet, but I would anticipate with the impending snow coming, that will be sooner than we would think. By all accounts, a phenomenal year for them, and I look forward to sharing the end of year reports with council. I think they're quite remarkable. They certainly had some opportunities that they took full advantage of, and it's going to show in those financial statements.
Thank you, Councillor Seed. Councillor Beck.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so just two items to bring forward for discussion today. First one is we had the P4G meeting, so this was with Rock. So we had that on October 1st. Certainly some very large topics were certainly discussed during this meeting. So we had some discussion there on the water servicing agreement and that kind of thing, whatever. Certainly like that kind of touched on, like a few major themes. The first one being like the reseller rate and how that's going to, to certainly, be implemented here in the landscape. And also like the connection fee system, and also some discussion about planning and communication going forward. So it was certainly very important meeting to certainly be at. So we covered off that. There's also a presentation there from let's say about the Meewasin strategic plan. This year, Parks Canada is very interested in basically looking kind of specifically at what Meewasin has been able to do here, and its popularity, and it's important to to the Saskatoon, not just Saskatoon, but also like the surrounding area. So we covered that. And my second point to bring forward would be that the Summa Regional meeting is set for November 2nd, and that runs from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So just that way there, you guys would be aware of that. Like you'll see communication on that there coming forward. That's all that I have today, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Councillor Beck. Councillor Tully.
Thank you, Your Worship. Don't have a lot to update on just from my portfolio. I guess a couple of little things. Looks like Legend Center is really quite a busy place these days, and it's nice to see. It's also a little bit of a surreal thing, just given that that we still are in the COVID world that we're in. But like I say, hopefully we're going to see some improvements in that front fairly quickly. Other things ongoing in the next little while. I've got a Wheatland Regional Library Board meeting on Saturday that I'm going to be in attendance for, and trying to think what else is in the near future. That's really it for right now. So that's all I got for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peterson.
I attended a business meeting with the chamber and Brennan and his name from the economic development officer from Dylan from Martinsville last week, and had some pretty good discussions, which I would like to update yet another time about, and then that's about it.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
So I've been fairly busy with reconciliation side of things. There's the weekly meetings planning the fall conference coming up in November. I was able to go to Muskowquin First Nation and tour the only remaining residential school that is a Saskatchewan heritage site, and has actually just been given national historic status. They're just waiting. So it's been a long time going. It was very humbling to listen and hear the stories of the survivors that attended the school, and listen as we went through on the tour to the different buildings, and to hear some of the atrocities and the sad and trauma that would take place in various aspects of the building. So grateful to be part of that sad, awful event. On the other side of the environmental, the organics program will be wrapping up fairly quickly here. So it was kind of nice to see that we had some more people sign up for the green bin. And so in the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing the last final pickup until we start up again in the springtime. And then I'm looking forward to the household hazardous waste day, and just be a part of that and making a difference in the environment.
Looks like it'll be a nice day. So Councillor Ramage.
Thanks, Mayor Philipchuk. Pretty short report for myself today. Really good to see the Augusta Boulevard extension work continue. Looking forward to when that does open, although best estimates do seem into the new year. But it's great to see that continue, and additionally some development that appears to be going up as well. One concern that I'm having as I'm keeping an eye on this is the traffic movements through that intersection of Centennial and Augusta, specifically the southbound left turn from Centennial onto Augusta, and turning left from Augusta onto Centennial. I'm thinking perhaps we could be proactive as part of this extension and have some traffic counts done early on, just to get an idea of when traffic lights would be required at that intersection as well. I think that might be something to put on our radar, as there seems to be a lot of traffic during the peak hours there. The other thing on my radar is going through, following up on some other communications, and looking to see where we're at with a service review of engineering projects. A couple of weeks back, it seemed there was some support of council to have that done, and just haven't heard anything back yet. So just following up to see where we're at with that.
Okay. I don't know, Manager Smith, you want to say anything to that, or?
Sorry, to which one?
Probably both, yes.
Can you repeat that? I'm breaking up in here.
The first point was getting ahead and doing some traffic counts at the intersection of Centennial and Augusta, just as part of getting that extension moving forward and understanding when we may trigger the need for traffic lights at that intersection. And secondly, looking as a follow-up on where we're at with the service review of the engineering projects that was previously discussed by council.
Well, I don't recall the service review being discussed by all of council or direction on that one. And I guess it'd be the same for the traffic counts. The last I remember is when we had the discussion regarding the traffic counts, we were going to wait till after the Augusta intersection was open, and we were going to do the Augusta and First Avenue and possibly Centennial and Clubhouse, because they'll be all interrelated. So at that time, that's what I thought the direction of council was on that item.
Okay, on the traffic lights, that seems reasonable. Just want to make sure that that's on our radar. So that's good.
Yeah, we were waiting for Augusta to be open and just see kind of what the effects of that would be. And then we would do the count. On the other one, just I guess direction from council if that's what they wish us to proceed on. I don't recall a resolution to that one or any direction going forward. So, but I look for clarification.
Maybe it's something to bring up at committee of the whole then. Maybe that's the best place for it.
I think we did talk about a committee of the whole, but we didn't make a resolution. It was just more that discussion as it came up after. But there's no, I agree, there's no direction that we gave specifically that we can maybe give him maybe give more direction, I guess, if we want to pass a resolution to specifically what we're looking for.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Councillor Tooley.
That just, in some ways, that seems to me, like Councillor Ramage mentioned, is maybe that would be a good topic to have at the committee of the whole, and then we can kind of flesh out what that would entail, and then what maybe a motion would look like for that. I think that might be the appropriate place to do that, and then that allows administration to kind of, give us their feedback and give us their thoughts on it as well. And then, instead of trying to piece together a resolution while we're in the middle of a council meeting, I think it might be more appropriate for it to be there.
I agree. We did have the committee of the whole where we did discuss it. And I guess it's hopefully that we come up with the direction going forward with it. But I agree, more discussion. We'll have more time to have debriefed since the last committee of the whole. So that would be a chance to bring that up again at the committee of the whole. So we will put that down as a topic, and then moving forward to the following council meeting after that. And the nice thing is our committee of the whole is in person. So we'll discuss this at our committee of the whole. And if we do want to give any direction, it'll be at the following council meeting that would happen. Okay?
Certainly. Yep, and that's all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, Your Worship, so you want it as an agenda item on the next committee of the whole?
Yes, because it was brought up at the last committee of the whole, but we didn't come up with a resolution or direction of exactly what it was going to look like. I know it was brought up by one or two councillors about doing a review, and it just got left at that. Nothing more happened with it.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to the turbidity report. Motion, please. Councillor C.
Move to file the turbidity report for September 2021 as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Ramage. Any questions from that? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's move down to accounts. Motion, please. Councillor Beck.
So I'd like to make the motion to approve the city accounts as presented by checks numbered 26136 through 49 for the total amount of $1,937,971.98. And payroll vouchers numbered 13052 through 13116 in the total amount of $99,184.58 for Tuesday, October 12th, 2021.
Seconder? Councillor Peterson? Any questions from accounts? See none, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry, motion to go in camera. Need to go in camera for compensation review. Motion, please, Councillor Tully.
I will put forward the motion to go into camera meeting to discuss the compensation review.
Seconder? Councillor Ramage? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll give Catherine, when we get the word from Catherine, we will